Good evening, I'm Gabrielle Lopez and this is PTV News Now, our top story for tonight. First up, the Philippine Army has thrown its weight behind the 18-day nationwide campaign to end violence against women, determined not to let abuse slip through the cracks. Army Chief Lieutenant General Antonio Nartate urged all personnel to support the cause, emphasizing that the institution is pulling out all the stops to strengthen gender and development policies. With the theme United for a War-Free Philippines, the campaign led by the Philippine Commission on Women adopts a whole-of-nation approach to ensure no victim is left out in the cold, citing data showing that 4.8 million Filipino women have suffered violence. The initiative aims to rally communities, empower men as allies, and inspire the youth to raise their voice against abuse. The campaign also calls on bystanders to step up, break the silence, and intervene safely, ensuring that no act of violence is swept under the rug. One of the organizers or conveyors of the trillion-peso March rally, whose next mass protest gathering takes place this weekend, made it crystal clear earlier today resignation of the duly constituted authorities or elected public officials is not an option. Kidapuan Bishop Collin Bagaforo, one of the proponents of the trillion-peso March rally from the ranks of the clergy, said calling for the public officials to step down is not the group's agenda. The outstanding message of the protest rally is to hold all those who stole from government through flood control project irregularities and put them behind bars. The clergy has repeatedly insisted it is against any measure that is not within the scope of the charter in seeking resolution to the flood control mess and widespread corruption in the bureaucracy. Likewise, the trillion-peso protest march and rally, which kicked off on September 21, strictly advocates for peaceful resistance that absolutely eschews any acts of violence. Calling for resignation of the president is the apparent objective of the United People's Initiative group, who seeks for him to step down to give way to the vice president, which more than half of the nation absolutely rejects. It was President-elect Donald Trump's highly touted and arguably most transformative initiative in his 2.0 presidency to shrink the government workforce and slash government spending. After barely 9 months since its inception and hundreds of thousands of pink slips handed out to the government-hired workers, the Department of Gov't Efficiency, or DOGE, has quietly disbanded and faded into irrelevance. But the handwriting on DOGE's imminent demise was on the wall in the spring in the aftermath of Elon Musk's departure and falling out with the president on the issue of his big, beautiful tax bill, which eventually passed muster. This despite Trump's inking of an executive order earlier in the year extending DOGE's effectivity to July 2026. Musk's decision to quit earlier left DOGE without a clear-cut roadmap on its continued mission to further downside the federal government and with no able political willed successor to fill in the void. Even more sustained unemployment and underemployment, stubborn inflation, rising cost of food and essentials, and the inability of the Trump administration to generate jobs have led to a sputtering economy and Trump's tanking trust and job approval ratings. And that brings us to the end of tonight's broadcast. We'll be back tomorrow evening. I'm Gabrielle Lopez. Thank you for letting us be a part of your evening.